name of our experiment was called For the Love of Lanterns, and it was performed by Devon, Sullivan, Samantha, Burgess, and Thodal-Ness. The purpose of this lab was to test the biodegradability and environmental friendliness of each of 3 different brands of lanterns. The students aimed to answer the question, how long do different fuel cells burn and what kind of debris remains once the lanterns finish burning? Their hypothesis was, if there is a lantern that burns longer than the others while producing a lesser amount of debris, then it is less likely for the debris to contaminate our environment. The students thought that the brand Wish Lantern would fit these characteristics well because it advertised that it was eco-friendly on the box. The students used 3 different types of sky lanterns. The brands were called Barando, Wishing Light, and Handcrafted Chinese Sky Lantern. They needed 3 lighters, 6 pieces of fishing line that were each 4 feet long, stopwatch, some scissors, and a weight to hold down the lanterns. Their procedure was simple. Once they had acquired the 3 brands of lanterns, they just needed to attach them to weights so that they wouldn't fly away when lit. They started the stopwatch when the fuel cells caught flame and then recorded how long they would burn for. Then they repeated these steps for extra trials. These are photos of the 3 brands of lanterns that we used during this experiment. The first brand that we attempted our experiment on was the Barando. The Barando was the largest lantern that we tried to light. It burned for approximately 13 minutes, and it had a large black fuel cell that was difficult to catch flames. The colorful tissue of the lantern remained intact for the majority of the lighting process, although once one part of it ripped, the entire thing fell apart. In regards to the fuel cell, it was constantly smoking and there was never a steady flame. It was difficult to light. This could have been because of the weather conditions that the experiment were performed under. On this day, it was very hot and there was a lot of wind. For this reason, only 1 trial could have been performed for each brand. Our next lantern was called the Handcrafted Chinese Sky Lantern. This brand was long and skinny and burned for approximately 8 minutes. Once again, there was only time for 1 test, but this time, catching the fuel cell on fire took a lot less time. It was relatively easy to light cardboard, although the entire lantern disintegrated upon contact with water. Conditions. The students could not perform a single test upon these lanterns because they kept breaking. Not only would the fuel cell rip completely off of the hoop, but the beeswax fuel cell was impossible to light. For this reason, we can supply no quantitative data towards this brand. All of the data previously mentioned have been affected in some part by poor weather conditions, including extreme wind. For these reasons, the results cannot be verified. Also, due to time constraints, we were unable to do more than 1 test. Because of the uncertainty of our findings, the hypothesis was ultimately rejected. However, if we did have to give a sort of recommendation to the city of Bradenton, we would say that you should not use wishing light lanterns. These lanterns, being very fragile and able to have their remains swept away by the wind, mean that they can easily come out of control and fly into our ecosystems. We do, however, recommend the other 2 types of lanterns that we tried to burn. Because the handcrafted Chinese Sky Lantern disintegrated so easily in water, we decided that would prove less harmful to the environment.